Guys, welcome to my channel. Today we are doing a movie review. If you guys have watched my previous video, I did a review on this particular movie, Prophet Suddenly. So this is like the part 2. So if you've not seen the part 1 of my review, you should go check it out. If you've not even seen the movie at all, I feel like this movie is for everybody, not just Christians, not just people in ministry. I feel like everybody needs to see this movie because it has loads of lessons in it. Yes, for everybody, both pastors' wives, the pastors, even ministers of God, everybody needs to see this movie. So I think you should go see the first one. If you do not like spoilers, I think you should go see the movie first. Okay, because I'm going to be giving a lot of spoilers. This is a movie review. I'm going to be mentioning a lot of names and giving everything that it should give for the movie. So please go check it out yourself. I've already done a comprehensive lessons and a review in the part 1, so go check out. I'm going to put the link in the description below for the first part of the video. Today's video is the movie review for Prophet Suddenly part 2 by the WINLOS. You guys, the part 1 was a gang, the part 2 is a gang. Anyway, I love the part 2. It came with loads of lessons. Apostle was in the movie too, even though he had a little bit of role. He didn't play, he just did I think a scene or two. Yeah, and that was it about that. That was about it. Anyway, if you're interested in today's movie review, I'm sure just get your popcorns, get your Coke, whatever you're going to be drinking, tea, coffee, whatever, just come closer and let's enjoy. Welcome back. So we're going to be starting this movie with the review. We're going to be talking about lessons and we're going to be reviewing the movie. Yes, so the WINLOS did the movie. It was mainly shot in South Africa, Nigeria and Ghana. So the WINLOS went beyond the borders this time around, and which is really amazing. It is beautiful and it is expanding the movie, the ministry, which I think is amazing, right? So the movie started with Apostle in South Africa. So I think he went to the golf course or something to play golf or something. Yeah. So I think one of the people that listened to it, I think he came to minister in South Africa, and then the woman was at the meeting, and then she met him coincidentally. And you know this thing that people do now. They want to talk to the minister of God. So she was like, "Oh, I'm so happy to see you." She was stunned, and she was so happy, like, I met Apostle. Who will not be stunned? Please, who will not be stunned? Anyway, so she greeted him, and she was like, she had a concern. She had something she wanted to discuss with him. So Apostle was like, "Okay, go ahead, I'm listening." So she said her husband was serving in a local ministry, and then all of a sudden he got kicked out of the ministry. And then the husband has been, ever since, he was like, he wants to get into ministry. Like he will do anything to get into ministry. I feel like when someone gets to that point of desperation, you need to pipe low, right? I feel like desperation is not a good sign for purpose. If you are so desperate about something, it's already a negative sign. Anyway, so she told him, so she was really concerned, and she was like, she's so scared that her husband might do something really funny or do something crazy and out of the ordinary. So Apostle was now counseling her that ministry is not like a normal job, right? It's like you're running errands for Jesus, and you don't do it to prove a point, which is a very good lesson. You don't do ministry because you want to prove a point, not because you want to pepper anybody. Ministry is not a social organization. It's like you're running errands for God. So it is not, it cannot be compared to you are chasing a career, no, it is different. So he was like, I'm going to tell you a story that the name of the person that he's going to tell you about is Daniel. Pastor. You guys remember the WINLOS, the man, I forgot his name is Daniel in the part 2. So apparently, if you remember what happened to him the last time, he lost his ministry. He lost his ministry, his daughter died, his wife left him. But I think, so in the part 2 now, the wife came back, so they were now living in very small apartment, and I think he's been serving under this man for a while. And this morning, the man was, he was listening to Benson Idahosa, And then he started preaching like him, talking like him. He has listened to this man's messages, that he has absorbed himself in his messages, that, you know, he now speaks like Benson Idahosa. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I think his morning routines are usually like that, for him to be absorbed in his message like that. So he was having breakfast with his wife, and then the wife was like, are you sure you still want to resign? Are you sure it's a good idea? Because he wants to resign. He was serving in a local ministry. So he was like, yes, that he needs to resign. No, he has tried that ministry is not serving him and all of those things. And his wife was like, I think you should still need to pray about it and take some time. He was like, no, that's what he wanted to do. So he went to the church and he told his pastor that, you know, he has served in this ministry for a very long time. Even the people that came after him, the people that he has mentored, have, you know, you've given them freedom. You have allowed them to go and serve in another. You've given them their own ministry to go and serve and all those nice things. And the pastor was still saying that, you know, he can see that he's frustrated. He brought a paper. I was listing all the things the pastor has done to him. You did not visit me when I did my 1 year, when I lost my child after 1 year. I think they did a Thanksgiving or something. You did not visit me. You called, you did this, you did that. He mentioned everything. I think one lesson that we need to learn from this is that our pastors are humans like us. Right? They have a life, they have a family, they have their own thing they are doing. Yes, I can understand that they are pastors and they need to oversee, but we need to give them some grace, to be very honest. So he mentioned everything, and the pastor was like, he knows exactly what is wrong with him. And he tried to convince him, but he was saying, he was so insistent that he wanted to leave his ministry. And the pastor was like, okay, no problem, go. I pray that, you know, so the guy was like, he should pray for him. So he did not really, the pastor was not happy, but he saw that he was so desperate to go. And so the pastor was like, okay, go if you want to go. So he left. When he got home, he told his wife that I've resigned. And the pastor did not pray for me. And, you know, I think before that scene, his wife was driving and then her car suddenly stopped. So while she was trying to fix it, a mad fellow came and was trying to prophesy. The devil is so trickish. He will plan things like this. Even yourself, if you are not careful, you will fall for it. So the wife was trying to fix the car, and, you know, the mad fellow came. I was like, I can see you. Ghana. Oh, Ghana, yes. 2 people flying high. Podium. That lie. Anyway, the lady did not get what he was trying to. She was just scared, like, get off me, don't come close to me. So it didn't make any sense. So she got home, and then while she was gisting with her husband, immediately one of her husband's friends from Ghana called that, I got your number from the our secondary school WhatsApp group or something like that. WhatsApp group. I just called to say hello and this thing. What are you doing now? I heard that you're doing ministry and all of that. So he said that, yeah, he resigned today. The pastor does not see his worth. He's been under him for a very long time. The pastor does not see his worth, you know, those kind of stuff. So the man was like, okay, come to Ghana, come and work under me, come and, come and work with me. I was like, Nigeria to Ghana. They talk him like, say, nah, he's just here. Nigeria it's a very big move. Say, just come. Me that I'm telling you to come. I'm not a small person. Come first. Sharp. The man has sent him 5 million. So the wife now told him, Ghana. He was like, Then when she was out today, a mad fellow came, was saying Ghana, Ghana, podium, fly, air. The man was like, that this is God. I was like, yeah. This is, he was like, when he put it together, he was like, this has to be God. Like, this has to be God. Sometimes you have to actually calm down to know what God is saying. If it is actually God or the devil is very trickish. This is one thing I learned from this movie. Sometimes when you have certain things, those things do not come from God. Yes, God allows certain things to happen, but it is not everything that comes from God. Everything that happens to you. That is why we have the Spirit of God to help us, to affirm us, to discern. That is why we have the Spirit of God. This man was so desperate that he could not even pray and wait on God and even ask God that, this thing that's happening, should I go to Ghana, should I not go to Ghana? Yes, a mad person came, but I mean, why do I have the Spirit of God? When you get, he did not even confirm. This man just went to Ghana. You know, he just like, he put two and two together. The wife was sitting, my dear, I think you still need to wait, you still need to pray. The man was like, this is God, this has to be God. Anyway, the wife just was like, okay, no problem. She supported her husband. He went to Ghana. The man came, welcomed him, gave him presidential welcome at the airport, you know, took him to his house, gave him Prophet suddenly enjoyed. He ate, his name is Daniel in this part 2. He ate to his feeling, and the pastor was like, he's going to give him one assignment, that once they go to church, that once they get to church, he has his first assignment. Anything ask him to do, he has to do it. They now got to the church. The man started, prophesy! Can I prophesy? Prophesy! Can I prophesy? Prophesy! There is somebody here. His name is Daniel. Daniel. Then he shall mention Daniel Dosumu. I think his name is Dosumu in the movie. Daniel Dosumu. Is there any Daniel Dosumu here? The guy was like, what is this man saying? As if you don't know me. He was so confused, like, what was going on? He shall stood up. He was like, he shall mentioned a lot of things that he already knew about him, and this guy was finding reluctant to play along, but he eventually played along when he remembered that the pastor told him that anything I asked you to do, do. So he now mentioned a lot of things that was wrong with him, even the ones that were wrong with him and the ones that were not wrong with him. He now told the congregation that if you want to sow into this man's life, I want you to bring a seed of, I think, how much, maybe dollars. He shall told them to bring money. Everybody was running, bringing money. I said, this is what people like. This is what people like. So anyway, people came, gave money, a lot of money. And so, after everything was over, they were sharing the money. And then he saw some women, and then he gave those women money. Like that prophet, assigned one of his bodyguards. They were sharing money. In fact, they gave him double that. He over-delivered. So Daniel was still confused, like, what is going on? What is going on? He did not understand. So there was another scene where the pastor and Daniel, they were swimming and they were gisting, and he was like, he's not confused. So the man was like, let me tell you what ministry is about. People love the miracle. Okay, he first started with, he used to have a gift of, he used to see when he was younger, right? When he was younger, he used to see like things, right? But I don't know, he now said he later lost it. He began to do dubious things or something like that, and he later lost it. But because he wanted to remain like that and he wanted to milk it, right, he now started arranging people to do the miracles. People love miracles, so that God, the way he said that thing, he said something like, people love miracles, and just another way of it is like you're helping God. Yes, that was the word. He said you are helping God, that you are bringing people to church. You just have to arrange these miracles. That same way, you are still bringing people into the church. And I'm like, what is this man talking about? Like, what exactly is he saying? So, I don't know. He just found a way of, convincing prophets, because whatever he said never made sense to me, right? Well, it will make sense to a normal person, because it didn't make sense to me, to be honest. He said you are helping God. You can't help God. Okay? You can't help God. Anyway, he said that way, he's making money for himself. He's doing miracles. People love miracles normally. When you hear that, people are hearing jim, people will rush there for miracles. It's not everything that is actually miracles. Some things, Satan will touch you. You don't know. You will get your healing, but it's not permanent. Anyway, so he tried to convince this man, and he chopped him. Anyway, so after that happened, so Daniel was like, that this is a very good way. That way you are helping God. God is helping you. It's like you're using robbing Peter to pay Paul. That kind of stuff. You arrange miracle. You bring people to church. People believe in God, but they are fake miracles. Anyway, so he now called his wife. His wife was like, she saw this, what happened on TV. She was like, me, my family, we have traits of madness in our family, because he mentioned that in when they were doing the deliverance or something like that. So she called her husband. Her husband was trying to explain to her. She was like, that skinny, that she's not happy, that this thing does not make any sense. You know, the husband was like, this is how ministry works. I never understood ministry. I'm going to show my pastor. He does not know. I'm going to teach him how to do ministry. He invited his wife now, because he now had money. I mean, they've been doing this for some time, so he had money. So he invited his wife. His wife came. You know, she was so happy when she saw the big house. They were living large. The pastor, Papa even came to greet them. Papa saw fine woman. Papa said, I entered. Anyway, so that was how they were doing it, and he was promoting Daniel. Daniel was doing well. Let me call him Pastor Daniel. Pastor Daniel was doing well. He now invited him. I wanted to take him somewhere. He now took him to Miokuku Sheshe. In fact, when he got there, I was now wondering how he did not remember that woman. How he did not remember Miokuku Sheshe. Anyway, so apparently the pastor that brought Pastor Daniel had a misunderstanding with Miokuku Sheshe. He did not pay her. So Miokuku Sheshe is a spirit, but I don't think that man knew. He only knows her as someone that arranges people for him, like people that will do miracle. And so the money they make from the miracle, he gives her part of it. But I don't think he knows the depth of that. He didn't know that woman so much, because he wasn't getting powers from her. I don't know if he was getting powers from her, but I knew at that point that that woman arranged miracles for him. So when he got there, the man was like, where is my money? Get this man out of here. Why will you bring him here without even informing me? So they sent Daniel away. So he had a misunderstanding with Miokuku Sheshe, and he left angrily, you know. So I think after then, Miokuku Sheshe was threatening him that she has to send his money. She was like, you're not going to send my money, no problem. No problem, you guys know Miokuku Sheshe. She doesn't play. First thing, you know, she started disgracing him. One of the people that she sent, you know, when he said, prophesy, you have 2 sisters. No, pastor, I don't have 2 sisters. You know, why do I try to do the miracles? It was like, no, you know, the woman started saying the opposite of what. He was embarrassed. Like, he was embarrassed. He was a big pastor in Ghana. He was so embarrassed. You know, that was like the beginning of it. You know, she was now doing more. This man, he's so stubborn. This man refused to give that woman her money. So the media was carrying like he's a fake prophet and all of those things. Pastor Daniel, who is supposed to actually look in depth and find out what's actually going on. Women started coming out to say he used to rape them, he used to do this, he used to molest them, he even get them pregnant, they do abortions, you know, these kind of horrible things we hear. Pastor Daniel was now doing damage control. This pastor will sit on his own, Pastor Daniel will be doing damage control. And his wife was there. I'm like, hey, this wife, like, I was even angry at the wife. The wife, that her role was just annoying me. Like, what kind of wife is this? You know, the husband was doing damage control. She would talk to her husband will not listen. You know, it got so bad that, you know, Miokuku Sheshe now threatened that she knows that he used to defraud people. She brought out all the documents, everything. The man started begging her, you know. So while Daniel was doing damage control, the pastor was just living large, planning his exits. You know, before we knew it, you know, Miokuku Sheshe appeared to the wife, told the wife to tell her husband that he should be very careful. So she got home, you know, she told her husband, explained everything. She was so scared. She now confessed to her husband that, and at this point, the wife was pregnant. Confessed to her husband that daddy used to rape her, and that was how she got pregnant, that the pregnancy is not for her. Pastor Daniel now believed everything he has been hearing about, you know, the pastor. Like, at this point, he was so livid. So he went out, you know, went to go and look for Papa. At the point where he was looking for the Papa, police came, said he was an accomplice. They arrested him. The wife that was the wife that was in the house, while she was in the house and the husband left, you know, she committed suicide. She jumped from the balcony. You know, she lost her life, obviously, and the baby. And they arrested Pastor Daniel. And apparently, the pastor himself disappeared. while Pastor Daniel was the one that, you know. So I think the moral lesson of this thing is, hey, the moral lesson here is, you guys, it is important that you are working with the Holy Spirit every second. Some things might look good, beautiful, but it is not everything that actually comes from God. Gifts comes from the devil sometimes, and if you are not careful and discerning, you will think that these things are actually from God. Pastor Daniel felt like these things were from God, right? And you know, he was so desperate to do ministry. He was so desperate to prove a point that he got into the wrong hands. You know, the pastor called him the madman, you know, and the money, you know, everything was like making sense. He never knew that these gifts were from the devil. So this is a very big lesson. And you know, when you know, there were so many the media round, the women coming up, people confessing, he never saw any of these things as, you know, he never saw them as though God is, you know, trying to show him something or anything. This man went ahead and was doing damage control for someone who was guilty of certain things. He was working with the devil directly, and he had no idea. Now his desperation for fame, for wealth, for ministry, for money, to prove a point, led him to start working for the devil. He was actually working with the devil. I had no idea, and he landed in. Now he had to pay for the sin, his own sin, and that of the pastor, and the wife lost her life, and it was so tragic. Like, it was so sad. There are so many lessons to be learned in this movie. I feel like this movie is timely, and I feel like a lot of people need to actually see this movie and learn a few lessons from here. Desperation for not just ministry, even for purpose. Sometimes God might be taking you through a journey, and you might feel like, oh, it's taking so long. I went for a women's conference a few weeks back, and you know, some of these women, they're trying to tell their stories, and you know, now that they have become, they were telling us how you too can become. Some of them, it took them 30 years working before they actually came into limelight. So sometimes these things don't happen overnight. You have to actually go through the process. God is a God of process. He's a God of order, right? You have to go through it. Daniel, David in the Bible, before he became King David, we all know the ordeal, what he had to go through. Joseph in the Bible, we all know what he actually went through. It wasn't easy. He didn't just become the prime minister overnight. He went through hell and back. God took him through the fire before he actually became Joseph, the prime minister. So sometimes, you know, you don't have to, you should not be, I know, understand that sometimes it can be very painful. Waiting can be very hard. I think we've done a video about how you wait well, what you should do while you're waiting, what can you do while you're waiting, how difficult can waiting be. We talked about this severally. Waiting can be hard, but waiting, how do you even wait? Do you wait murmuring? Do you wait grumbling? Do you wait, you know, waiting, having a plan B? How do you wait? So these are the things God actually considers. You know, Pastor Daniel was not yet ready for the ministry. That's why the pastor didn't send him off to go and start his own ministry. He was still in the, but he was so desperate to actually leave this pastor, and which led him into all of this. I think at that point, when he already made up his mind to resign, the Spirit of God had already left him, like, okay, do what you want to do. Because at that point, I don't even think he was praying anymore. He wasn't praying. He wasn't even studying his Bible. He was just so focused on another person's purpose, or another person's ministry, which led him into all of this. So one thing that we need to look out for is desperation. We need to drop it. Desperation, and the fact that you want to do certain things to prove a point in ministry, in purpose, your career, your destiny. We need to pipe low sometimes, especially young people. We need to pipe low. There's no point that I remember that there was a time of my life where I actually wanted to prove a point, and then I was like, no, I had to calm down. There's no point. You're not trying to prove a point to anybody. Now, this applies to ministry mainly, and it also applies to every other aspect of your life. Desperation will lead you nowhere. In fact, you know, when you eat like hot, something that is very, very hot, that just came out of fire, and just put it into your mouth, you know how it feels, right? It's going to burn you. Exactly, that's what desperation does. It's going to burn you. So I think this and many other lessons. Let me know if you watched the movie. What lessons did you, what vital lessons did you learn? Do you think that do you also think that Daniel got what he deserved? I don't think he actually got, because he was just walking foolish. It was not just ignorance, and the fact that he wasn't working with the Spirit of God, and he was so desperate for, you will say yes that he deserved what he got, but if you look at it very well, he was just being an ignorant man that was just looking for fame and purpose, and you know, he got it the wrong way. So yeah, anyway, please drop your lessons. What do you think about this movie? Do you think, yeah, he got what he deserved? What were the major keynote lessons that you got from this movie? Do well to like, share. I'm sure you enjoyed this review. Do well to like, share, subscribe, drop a comment on what you think about this video, and turn on post notification bell. Yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.